And we're back. Welcome back. All right, this is part two of the Ivett estate build. Most of this is going to be decorating. The first part was all the construction and decorating bits. I think it turned out okay. I struggled with furniture, what to do with the rooms. Usually I like to be more planned, but I find that in The Sims I do very well at doing a single room and then moving on to the next, because sometimes I can be real all over the place and not get anything done, just lots of little pieces. But I just want to say welcome back, and welcome to the Sake House. I'm Rio Sake, and I hope you have a good time watching this video. Maybe I can speak, right? All right. So last time in part one, I started a story about this guy. I was hanging out with some sisters from my sorority, and let's see, we were coming back from IHOP across town, and we were on this street, which for the most part is straight, but when we start meeting up with train tracks on the same street, it's a long parkway street. Anyway, there's overpasses and stuff like that for the train to go above us, and we're basically underneath. But to do that, they had to curve the street. Well, this dude just flies by us as we're approaching the stoplight. I was like, he needs to slow down. He's going to get hurt. Well, no matter, in roughly a second after that, we look up, because it's not like I was looking down or anything. I was looking, and I had glanced over to see if there was anyone else around me. And I look back at the road, and all we see is this car rolling, because it hit the curb and it was rolling. It rolled 9 times. The driver was thrown and crushed by the car, and the passenger in the car, who had his seatbelt on, thank goodness, was still strapped in, but he was severely injured. We believe from what the medics said around 4:00 in the morning is that he had broken his neck or something like that. But he would live. He wasn't in danger of dying. But the driver who was crushed by the car, he was still alive at the scene, but he died later on. And so we witnessed something horrific, and that is mildly upsetting. It was hard to watch. It was shocking to see happen, and we stood there with the paramedics and the police and the fire people. And what's so sad is that right after the wreck happened, like before any of the emergency vehicles showed up, because we were the ones who called this. We called the police and them to get there. Before any of them showed up, whoever they were racing with, literally within seconds, they showed up and were stopped at the stoplight along with us. And they apparently had been drag racing, and so they sped off, because it's illegal to drag race on that street. It's not a straight street. So what happened was not the car didn't just hit the curb, because at that time there was a turnaround in the middle of this giant avenue parkway street, where like if you needed to do a U-turn to get onto the other side of the grass to go the opposite direction, there's like a little exit U-turn space that you can do it in. Well, in the middle of this, it was in the middle of that. Let's try that again. At that turnaround, there was a memorial to Martin Luther King Jr. that was in the process of being built, and so there were like marble tiles and stuff and raised land there, and they hit that. And it because at the edge of that little monument that was being built, it was at a slant. So when they hit that and then ran over they hit the curb and then they hit the marble slant, it just rolled them. And they rolled a good 8 or 9 times before the car came to a stop. And it was a really bad wreck. It was a really nice car, one of those really nice cars. Well, they had like a BMW. That's what it was. It was a BMW that was souped up for racing and everything. It was a beast of a car. It did not survive the crash. It was too wrecked up. Like, I'm pretty sure that night was so intense that I think I may have dissociated in the middle of it, because I don't remember how they had to get the other guy out, but he certainly did not get out just by them opening the door. Let's just say that. I'm pretty sure they had to use the jaws of life to cut him out of the car. Luckily, nothing caught on fire and nothing exploded. Unless I just don't remember that part, but that's not what I recall at all out of the whole thing. Memory's unreliable too, and it's been a long time. Somewhere around 14, 15 years later. But that's that story. That's one of those weird happenings in my life. So that's something that I don't think I've ever shared this story in any other situation. I haven't done any great detail, and I didn't give much detail here because I don't remember that much. It was traumatizing for a lot of reasons. It didn't stop me from driving or anything, but I certainly do pay more attention to the people who are going too fast around me because they may not be paying attention. And this was at a time when cell phones weren't really that big of a thing. Like, you couldn't do all that much on them. You couldn't text on them yet. Like, it was an actual cell phone. Like, all you could use was a phone, the phone function. It was only a few years later where we finally got texting function, and then Blackberries became a thing, and then internet was kind of on there. It was like 1G speed, so it was still dial-up and definitely slow, and dial-up may have been faster at that point. But I like to think that our phones have come a very long way from where we were. Like, I'm looking at my phone now and I'm just like, the things I can do on that. Like, I would rather do some things on my phone over using my computer. That's how better it is. It's very rare that I would rather use my phone instead of my computer, but there are some things that are simply faster or more convenient. So, but he wasn't even on his cell phone texting. He was just drag racing on a curvy street. And so it was dangerous, super dangerous, and tragic for the one gentleman, probably for both, because I don't know if the other gentleman was able to walk ever again. We didn't hear anything more after that. I just now know that driving stupidly on streets, especially around other people, like, I don't think they even saw us there. Our lights were on. We weren't at fault in any form or fashion. They just were racing. And the other guys, it makes me feel bad because the other guys who were racing against them just sort of abandoned them there at their time of need. But because they were doing something illegal, they didn't want to get caught and get all the penalties. So they let this one guy, I mean, he probably was going to die anyway because of the wreck, but just try not to be dumb. That's my whole goal. That's my whole thing I'm trying to say. Don't be dumb. Don't race where you're not supposed to race. There are tracks for that. Though I will say that I do race my family when we're leaving the same area and we all took different cars, or we took multiple cars from the same group. We have what's called a gumball rally, which is based on the movie Gumball Rally, I believe. A movie from the 60s or 70s my parents watched, and then they introduced us to the concept of this gumball race. So a lot of times it was racing from church, where we would all get in the car, and right before we all got in the car, we would be like, gumball rally or gumball, and then we all just race, get in the car, start running and taking off. But you have to obey the speed limit to some extent. You can't go more than like 5 or 10 miles per hour of the speed limit, because number one, you'll get arrested, or you'll get stopped by the cops. But also, it makes it more fun when you all have to follow the same rules. Anyway, it's always a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing that with my family. Ooh, look, this is where I'm building the gazebo. I'm really proud of this gazebo. I think this is the one thing that I really pride myself on in this video, in this particular build too, is this gazebo that I found all the parts for, and I really enjoyed how it all came out. I'm not a huge fan of sitting outside, because in Texas, it's really hot. It's hot. It's not a dry heat like in Arizona. It's wet heat. It is humidity. Like today, it's 120% humidity. Usually that's called rain, but it's not even raining. It's sunshine. So it feels like you're in a hot shower or in someone's hot, nasty mouth, and it's just gross and unpleasant. But I felt really happy about this build because there's a little bit of shade, and at night it's almost like a fire pit, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm glad y'all stopped by today. I just wanted to continue this build, get it out there. I'm going to be adding another couple of series, not Sims series, to this channel. This is not, I've never pegged this as a Sims channel to begin with, but I do know when I want to add more to this channel than just The Sims. I love The Sims, but I still plan on doing more. But thanks for stopping by, and let's enjoy the end of this build, and I will see y'all next time. Oh, yep, mailbox.